We're all video song trustees.
There's sets like big gap and
Probably not bad.
there's a lot of
Not bad.
outside there.
Get the same one. I think it's like, he said it was bad. She made
We
ours.
didn't drink the same thing.
We gotta do something that's.
You have coffee, right?
Still coffee. It's coffee.
I put water in mine. Oh, but acid rain is still rain. That
Too dark for
same
it.
thing.
No responsibility.
Whoops, yeah.
He's like, he could be. I got one of his headsets still. He needed
Trying to figure out how.
3 times.
Yeah. The. It's really bad.
Yes,
Yes, it's better.
Oh, there you go.
I've seen, dude, I saw that video there. It was a crazy, the other video was crazy.
I think it. How you doing, buddy?
It's crazy.
You just walk in.
Oh,
Why they'll let anyone in those doors?
no, Adam, most of Adam, that's my wife. Remember, we went to his house a long time ago, Winkle. Remember, we were at it was Doug's house.
Yeah, definitely.
I just love her. This is right.
We did at Winkle's house a long time ago.
Very good. Hurry up there, change it here. Hurry up there, change it here.
Thank you.
That's like I was here.
Yes.
Yeah, how are you? Jason, how are you?
Wonderful.
Patty.
I just sent you a text and said you're okay.
Hey, David, we're live, just so you know.
Yeah.
Is this a cold open? Melissa? Why don't you do doctor tattoo removal? Or doctor tattoo removal?
Right.
He says.
I think Don Johnson's in the house. Yeah.
Recording dog.
That's how she'll come in.
For what?
A good house, but not far. Not one that's right from the whole way from far. It's not,
Maybe one
they
day.
can get cut back on the burden. Danny's not gonna really get there so much.
Yeah.
I think Randy said he cushion.
I'll get, I mean, I'm stuck in the store. I'll do whatever you give me.
Want me to get them?
We're about to start in 15 seconds.
Either.
Want me to go get them?
Where's Paige?
No. No, her door is shut, Melissa's door is shut. There, I heard Melissa talk. Oh.
We had the kid, we had the kids in here earlier, the 6th graders. It's funny, next meeting, we'll have them again. The 7th graders will be here before. If y'all want to see some good questions, they asked actually some pretty good questions and stumped the little engineer over here, but,
That's hard to do.
yeah, they had, well, not him. It was a sit-in engineer, but it might have stumped Scott too, I don't know. But there were some good questions and they were kind of off script. So it was funny to see them role play with their own ideas. So they had three ideas and they all put up for a vote. Of course, they all passed, but they were interesting. An aqueduct idea, a expansion on Madera Ditch and Dixon Bayou idea. And the third was Scott's favorite. You can tell his group, it was a lift elevation idea of structures.
Actually,
Get
they
'em up.
solved all the issues we go home.
They resolved a lot. Okay. You ready? Notice is hereby given of the regular meeting of Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District, October 14th, 2025, 6 p.m. here at the district's office located at 1605 Whitaker Drive, Friendswood, Texas. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and if you all stand for the prayer, and we will go immediately to the pledge of allegiance. Scott?
Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Father God, thank you so much for this opportunity to be here, and we pray that we keep your will and your word up front as you guide us through making important decisions to keep the community and lives healthy and safe. We just pray that, for peace on earth, and every part of that peace is your love shines through our actions. It's in Jesus' name we pray.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Ready, let's move to citizen comments. Please keep your comments down to 3 minutes per person. Melissa, if you would keep time on that, please, for me. And we have 3 people signed up to speak. If there's more, please catch a sign up sheet right now. Jason wants to make sure everybody signs up who wants to speak. So first is Don Johnson. If you would, Don, and just state your address.
Sure. I'm at 810 Myrtlewood. Our property backs up to Clear Creek.
We know where you live.
Most people do. Well, I came tonight because I heard some comments in the last board meeting, which prompted me to come out and use my 3 minutes speaking on the subject of the Friendswood Regional Detention Basin. There's no way I can cover all the things that need to be said in 3 minutes, so my comments will probably extend on out to social media in the coming weeks. And we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I just want to let everybody know, you might not know, there were some notable officials that got involved in that project to get it going. There was Russ Poppy, the former executive director of the Friendswood District, Matt Zeeley, the deputy. The current executive director is Christine Peterson, and all 3 of those folks from the Harris County Flood Control District have supported that project. And they're no good supporters of it. We also had County Judge Mark Henry support that project. He was key in the beginning stages of it. So was Tyler Drummond, the executive chief of staff, the county engineer, Michael Shannon. He was very supportive of it. Of course, the Friendswood mayor and the city manager, along with Robert Griffon, who was very helpful in supporting that and getting that kicked off, as well as the city engineering department with Joe Arias. And that's not exactly right, but
Hill.
He was a great supporter of it. Also, some state officials supported what was going on and managed to get us some state money, Dr. Bono, Dennis Paul, and other state officials, along with many other officials and residents which supported that project to get it going. And these people are all, I know all of them personally, and they're very fiscally conservative, very responsible people. They would not go out and just throw a project out that has, some have said, here's just a big waste of money. That's not at all what this is about. There is a plan in place to create a series of detention basins from Dixie Farm Road down to FM 528. And once we get those in place, that allows conveyance to actually be taken along that route to move water. And that's what we need to do. We can't move water down the creek without some kind of a detention and some mitigation plan. I'm not sure if everybody out here knows. I'm sure everybody on the board has read Chapter 11 of the State Water Code, and they understand what your requirements are for providing detention and mitigation. And you can't just push water downstream and be done with it. The cities down there would not stand for that.
Don, this time.
Would not happen. Okay, well, like I said, I'll continue this on social media in the coming weeks.
Thank you, Don. Thanks, Don. Charles Organ.
Thank you.
Sir.
I live at 1006 Myrtlewood Drive. We moved to Fringewood and found the perfect home at 1204 Myrtlewood Drive in 1980, 45 years ago. We were told by the real estate agent at that time that yes, it had flooded several years before, but there was $75 million in the kitty to take care of that. And the Corps of Engineers have made a study. Last 45 years, almost nothing has taken place. There have been more than one study leading to another study with no dirt being moved until recently, last couple of years ago, they started on the, I'm sorry, I should be speaking to more than the audience. The Harris County side, the big detention pond, working on that. We had high hopes that it will do some real good. Our home flooded 3 times after we moved there. One on Harvey, we had nearly 4 feet of water from we destroyed everything downstairs. And then in 2020, there was a little flood. 6 homes flooded. Ours was one of them. We have repeatedly considered and explained that the creek has never been really much more than a ditch, a narrow, debris-filled ditch there. And it's never had any serious work on it despite our pleas. I am adamantly opposed to stopping that project and spending yet more money on another study that never seems to result in anything positive. I'm also concerned that if that stops, some billionaire project will come in there and put in a multitude of homes or a big shopping center that will create more flooding and turn the whole area into a longwood swamp and more traffic and more crime. So that basically is it. I certainly would like to think that that's going to be completed because I do have some faith in it from all the information I've been able to gather. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Adam Hill.
My name's Adam Hill. I live in 812 Briar Meadow. I'm going to live out Sterling Estates, Sterling Estates. And just wanted to thank you guys and let y'all know some of what we've gone through. I'm a very impatient person. So I believe everything we do is correct. I've got a great team that has helped us go through, and we ran into some opposition because we were dealing with the problems of drainage, and your staff helped us the same day. I mean, I think within an hour we were on site with addressing the problems and showing the rules that y'all are doing. And sometimes with developers, we look at what we're developing, but with your rules and your guidance, we're looking at everything around and what impact we're doing. And I don't know that everybody sees what y'all are doing to help out all the time, but I just want to say thank you and that it is working. And we're going to do things that don't cause y'all problems later. And I think that it takes time, which I'm anxious about because time is money. But the developments that are in the city now and with the rules and the vision that don't create any more problems, it's happening. And I hope that they appreciate what y'all are doing and know that the developers get a bad rap, but everybody's got the best interest in a successful project in mind. And I just appreciate it.
Thank you. Right, let's move on to the board of directors report. Mr. Gibson.
Yeah, I want to thank the staff for updating our webpage. Our website is looking a lot better in current information. If you get a chance to look at it, I think you'll like it.
Mr. Johnson?
Thanks everybody for coming. Just spent a week on a horse up in the hill country outside of Hunt, Texas. Pictures on the television don't do it justice. It's like a different place. And organization I'm part of, the Vaqueros, we sent men and equipment. I sent money. And last weekend we had the Texas EquiSearch Gala. Tim Miller, which many of you know, lost his daughter Laura in abduction and murder back in '86. Of course, we lost our own Laura Smithers here, 96. And Tim, this is their first gala they've ever done. Tim got up and told the story about Laura. Two of the fathers from the one little girl who lost her life got up and talked. I don't know how he made it through that. The second gentleman was a father, and his daughter's still missing. Her name is Lenny. And anyway, we had a great meeting. When you see that kind of thing, it kind of takes you back to what really counts in this world. Sometimes these petty politics really don't amount to ill beans when you talk about something like that. Positive news is that there's a lot of things that the community's doing up there, as well as in the room, we had about 450 people. Tim Miller got up there and said that as many people as there were in that room, that's how many bodies they have recovered over the years. But the good news was that twice the amount of people in that room was the amount of the live people that they rescued. So anyway, I encourage anybody that would want to give, or you don't have to be on a horse, you can be on a four-wheeler or on foot. But anyway, the last thing I want to say is that at 71 years old, soon to be 72, I graduated. I have no more colonoscopies anymore after this. And the results were good. I'm only a quart full. I would like to encourage Fred Flintstone, who I affectionately refer to Kevin Holland. I encourage him to go get one. I think everybody should be on top of that, because I have friends right now that are dealing with colon cancer because they never dealt with it. Another friend dealing with prostate cancer because they never dealt with it. And so, I'm a rancher. Ranchers typically don't go to the doctor. We don't pay attention if nothing hurts, but these are silent killers. And the last thing is, I want to thank everybody for your support in this program. Everybody has an opinion, like we all have another part of our anatomy. Sometimes if I take it personal, I want to apologize. I really don't take it personal. I'm just passionate about it. And, I laugh when I hear, and I have the most respect for Don Johnson of anybody. He's forgot more about this subject than I ever know. But I laugh when they talk about you can't, conveyance credits, or you can't, you have to deal with your water. Okay. Well, we're dealing with everybody else's water. I mean, I don't make the connection. And the second thing is that what we've been doing ain't working. I have the most respect for Charlie Organ. Charlie's Fighting Texas Aggie band member. I have a close place in my heart for him. And why I'm so hard-headed on this dike and these pumps is because Don Johnson taught me that is the fix for the problem. And it pains me to disagree with Don. I love Don. I love Cheryl. But two things. One, I don't like putting money on stuff that we don't have control over, that we can't have some kind of project management. I don't know who managed that project. I don't know how it was managed. I don't know the contract details. I don't know any of that. And we treat this money like it's our money, because it is our money. We pay taxes here too. Anyway, I feel like that most of what Don, as a taxpayer, has asked us to do, we've accomplished. And I'm a little pissed off, Don, because nobody gets everything they want, okay? And it's not the end of the world. And anyway, just because we disagree doesn't mean that I don't still love you and your wife and am beholden to you for all of your help and your instruction during this process. And I guess it appears you've created a monster. Anyway, I hope we can come to some sort of an agreement. Of course, we want to stop the flooding. I think the disagreement's over how we do it. And I don't disagree that we should do some little things along the way. We're talking about that. Anyway. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Start.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. I gave you
No.
the-
No, I'm in agreement with you. Yeah. I'm not, as a board, we're not seeing what the results we were told we were gonna see. We're not seeing the footprint that we were told we were gonna see, anything like that for that project on Dixie Farm Road. The signs have all been taken down. I drive by it every day. There's nothing there that even says anything about Harris County flood, anything like that. Do drive by Clear Creek, cross it every day, and I see that Harris County does not do anything to maintain their side of the creek. It's all bushes and trees growing into the creek and all that sort of just stuff everywhere. See that up the creek in Pearland on the Harris County side, there's debris all in the creek on their side. We can't do anything about what Harris County's doing to the creek, so we somehow, some way, we got to get them out here, get Harris County out to do their creek maintaining on their side. Other than that, I'm so glad that we're going to finally see some peace in this world. I'm hoping that we can find some peace here in Friendswood and everybody be kind to one another. Thanks.
Jones?
Thank you to FISD. Thank you to our hardworking staff. It was a neat thing they did today. It was the first time we've ever done something like this. We've got 2 more classes worth coming up, so that's really good as well. I'll leave the heavy lifting to everyone to my left. I'll just close it with the simple stuff. There's a few different events going on at all times. If you want to be involved, get involved. If you want to help your community, get involved in the county, get involved in the city, get involved anything you can go to. Being seen is about being heard as well. So I got a few different things at La Brisa on Thursday night, a couple of different events. If you have questions, let me know. And of course, our Friendswood Community Prayer Breakfast is this Saturday. Thank you.
So today we assist grade students here for the FISD LEAD program. The staff did a remarkable job. I'm telling you, the Randy and Scott, Paige, Melissa, and Samantha put a lot of time into it. I'm talking, it was incredible. I was here from 12:30 all the way till right now. The kids loved it. So it was like a physical science class. So it's interactive. It's like physical science. If y'all can remember 6th, 7th grade, I had Coach Sab Lutura. If y'all remember him from Pearland, Coach Sab and Pearland for physical science at the old intermediate school at Pearland. It was a wonderful class. We did all those little physical science experiments, and that's what reminded me of today when they were playing with their models and all that stuff and on the tractors and coming up with their own ideas on flood control. It was pretty remarkable to hear 6th graders' perspective on that. We have our barge. It'll be here in about 8 days. It's pretty awesome. The old board, we approved a barge out of Louisiana that was broke down half the time, like a lot of old equipment is that we deal with in farms and ranches and whatever. It did a good job, but we thought it working. We have a barge now built to spec, a brand new one, to spec, that we're going to spend less on purchasing than we made renting for about 4.5 months. And that barge will be available to the city of Friendswood when they need it. the city of League City, Galveston County, the state, the feds, whoever, as long as we don't have it in immediate use on Clear Creek or on Dixon Bayou, doing work for the people. I'm really excited about that. IDRT, the Institute of Disaster Resilience Texas, is continuing. They're into their core samples now in the creek. They also almost pulled out a car out of the creek in League City, actually. We identified a car, and Randy and I went out there and met McMurtry, I believe was the deputy's name. And we had the Houston dive team out there, fire department people, and several police officers. And we had a big to-do out there. And we pulled a car out of the creek that's been there since Harvey. So they still haven't found my refrigerator, my propane bottles yet, my swing set, but I'm sure that's coming. But anyway, that's we always knew there were cars in here. If we pulled them out in the 70s, well, we're pulling out more. So, but IDRT is getting to town on a big picture solution that David hit on, which for conveyance projects, for stuff that was later on the coastal spine that's been brought forward, that I think is going to be very interesting to see what they come up with. These are PhDs that do this for a living and been all over the world. The maintenance, what Randy is doing on the creek, how it looks, the district is in the best shape it's probably been in a very, very long time. And we continue to whittle away to make it even better. So if you look up and down the creeks, we have the getting the foliage out of the creeks, the logs out, and that's only going to increase when the barge gets here. And we have a chase boat coming too that's built to spec, just boat rights, building it in Alvin, just like the fire department and the police have. So we're going to have pretty good capabilities on the creeks here pretty soon. We're working with the city on where to launch this, and we're working on that. You'll hear more about that later. And for now, we'll just have to launch it up near Clear Lake and bring it down the creek. But eventually we're looking at constructing, in coordination with the city, an emergency boat ramp here somewhere on Clear Creek that can draft this stuff. Once again, for the district, for the city, for the fire, for the police, and of course for the state, county, etc., to keep that creek under control. Charlie, I grew up in Longwood and Sleepy Hollow. So I've been there my whole life. I mean, I grew up there, Wood Creek, Paracourt, all this side of Friendswood. And of course, I had 3 feet of water in my house during Harvey. So I'm very sensitive to flooding and drainage. There are different ways of getting there. And when that flood hit, I was a recovering cancer person. So I understand that too, what you said about that. I've been through that rigmarole at MD Anderson, and it wasn't a fun year. But that flood hit 7 months after that. It was pretty tough. So Friendswood people are going through a lot of things, and there's a lot of flood water to mitigate. Yes, we differ on how people, longtime citizens like me, and people differ on how we're going to go about this. I think what David's saying is we can't fuel the nuclear missiles every time we have a disagreement. We can't burn down friendships, burn down relationships, and go postal every time. We shouldn't even be cursing and acting crazy. There's no doubt I'm a stern individual, and I can dig in on policies and stuff. But some of the things that I've been called, some of these people on the board have been called here lately, and what's gone down is unacceptable. It's not acceptable. I'm sorry. It shouldn't happen. We should be able to disagree on policy, come to solutions, resolve it or not, shake hands, look each other in the eye, and move on down the road. Go to church, hang out, talk baseball, talk Friendswood High School football, Aggie football. Hopefully we can get over the bar this year. We'll see. Do something. But we can't fuel the nuclear missiles every time we have a disagreement on how to get to town. We're all on the same side, whether it's the Corps, whether it's the city of Friendswood, city of League City, whether it's Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District. I will say this, though, about going forward. A robust and a successful Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District is the cheapest insurance we have around here. I compare it to some things else I do. We're the least expensive tax bill.
Oh, sorry, Rusty, can I move to restore the rules of order? I can't hear you because I've got conversations going on in the audience. Can I make that motion?
Sure.
Say.
I'll second it. Okay. So,
Sorry for interrupting.
no problem. We're the cheapest insurance we have. I think your tax bill is about $580 a year, and we haven't raised it in 2 years. Not talking tax rate, not a dollar. We kept it flat. So it's $580 a year. If a third of Friendswood, again, has a big flood, and I call it the Chernobyl effect, and we have people who can't move back or won't move back because they're tired of flooding. In my neighborhood in Poly Ranch, it can happen on Pine and Oak very easily. Or let's say the state of the feds won't let them move back because the disaster is so big. It will devastate our tax revenue in the city. It'll devastate FISD, our school district, which we love so much. We won't be talking bond money. We won't be talking tax money. It'll devastate us. We can't lose $1 billion worth of taxable roofs and businesses because we don't have a robust and efficient drainage system. So we've heard that talk here lately. And I'm going to tell you something. We're here to protect the city of Friendswood and Western League City, a small part of it. And we're a check and a balance, and we're only interested in protecting lives and your property. I'm not interested. I know Adam was here and I appreciate it. Talk to Adam, these developers. We have no axe to grind. We just want to protect lives and property as best as we can. We're not always going to agree how to do that. However, our budget to keep our system, what we have in place, absolutely at peak performance. We have this older Clear Creek watershed. We have to keep it in peak performance. These bank repairs now are $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a pop, and they're adding up. Cowards Creek, Chigger Creek, Mary's Creek, all over the place. We're keeping them, up, not to mention the stuff in Dixon Valley. So we need a robust budget, and we're conservative as it gets financially here. Because I'm a small business guy, so I think really, really conservative, probably too much so, but we need to protect the city from a major flood event so we don't have taxing devastation for all of us here. So I want people to understand that. It doesn't just affect us, and people get cute and they say, oh, well, we can do what the district does this. Horse hockey, I'm gonna tell you something. The district needs to be strong here, whoever's running it. Take me out of here, whoever's running it, because we protect the tax base of the school district and the city. That's important to understand. Once again, please support Randy and his efforts. They're working all over this district. We just got a new excavator. He's been sloping these ditches back, and we've been doing stuff that really isn't in our purview, but it helps drainage. And we want to work with the city to make sure we're getting the water to our creeks, tributaries, and so we can see what we need to do to improve that drainage on these major waterways. So we want that water to get to us, and we want to help with the city wherever we can so we can see what we're up against. That's all I have.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Yeah, gotta have the last word. Hey, Charlie,
Yes.
I hear what you're saying. I'm not interested in another damn study either. I hate studies. We've been doing studies. But you know what? We're doing a study now that actually might solve the problem. If you put the flood dike up and you lower that lake 3 feet, guess what happens? It gives us water somewhere to go. Also, we got IDRT trying to figure out how much this creek is silted in. It's never been dredged. It's supposed to be a navigable waterway. I think that's a study worth having. It frustrates the hell out of me. We're the people who went around all this crap, all these meetings, all this bureaucracy to come to a conclusion where we have to have the study done to get the ammunition we need to go after the money to get it fixed. Also, 100 billion for the Ike Dike. Okay. We're talking a fraction of that money for this flood dike on Clear Lake. Okay. So that doesn't help you right now. Thank the Lord we ducked this season. I'm an engineer's dad. And my dad was an engineer. I'm an engineer's son. I'm for fixing it. Okay. I'm passionate about it. I hear what you're saying. When you get up here to speak, when Don gets up to speak, I listen to you. I respect you and I appreciate it. And I think we need to have these discussions. I like to be the peacemaker. I'd like to get in a room with everybody and let's bury the hatchet. And I don't mean into each other's head. And I'm open to ideas. And I think we should have the 6th graders in here. Hell, I think we ought to put them in charge. Robert, when y'all had the kids at the
They
city,
solved the problem.
it was awesome. I'm like, let's let the adults in the 6th grade solve this problem. Let's let the kids get out of the room. Anyway, that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Anybody else? I'm gonna move it. All right, number 8, Scott, we're probably not gonna make your timeline. Discussion, consideration of 5 Engineering LLC proposal for hydraulic analysis for the Frenchman's Creek barge dock, no rise analysis. Do I hear a motion to discuss?
Motion.
Second.
All right, Scott, I have 2 caveats that I want to propose on this, and I want to see what, and the board can discuss this too. So I think this is a necessary for study we have to do, sorry, Charlie, study we have to do to make this boat ramp so we can boat dock so we can get the barge in the creek. However, the caveat should be, I believe, board, number 1 is we need a layout that we can agree that is going to work to get the barge in and out of this location into the creek. Number 2, we need an interlocal with the city. The city owns the land, and yes, we'll probably spend as much money or more than the city bought the land for, but still, if the taxpayers from our tax base are going to pay for this, we need a working interlocal with the city to make sure that us, the county, state, and everybody can properly use this boat ramp for a very, very long time to justify the cost to the citizens. So 2 caveats. I want to make a motion to pass this with 2 caveats that we have a working interlocal and a working site plan so that we'll pass the money and it's available, but those 2 things have to be brought before the board before the money is released. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
B, discussion consideration, SMC Consulting Incorporated proposal for the wetlands delineation, jurisdictional waters assessment, and the nationwide permit application for the Frenchman's Creek barge launch. Do I have a motion to discuss?
Motion.
Second.
Y'all can discuss this, but I think the same 2 caveats should apply on this one also before the money's released.
I agree. I have a question though. Is where we're proposing in wetlands, will we have to wait for the determination of jurisdiction before we go forward?
Samantha.
That's a year down the road if we do.
I'm gonna
Yes,
let
at
Scott,
least.
because he's been pursuing that.
So this, we're gonna be working in the waters of the United States, right? We're below the ordinary high water mark. It's putting in this barge launch or this boat launch. So it's just part of the permit process. I don't foresee any wetlands issues, so to speak. It's more environmental, assessment that they require you to submit as part of the permit application with the Corps. And SMC has done that on a lot of our outfalls, and we did the slope paving on Mary's Creek, downstream of that bridge where it's scoured out, Jim. It'd be similar to that.
Is there a chance, Scott, that when we receive the data back from this item, that it might change the site plan that you'd be doing? Yeah, that I hate to have
I would
to
say
read
yes.
it,
I
but
would
yeah.
say yes on both of those, right?
Right.
But I think we have to come, that's just the process. You want to make sure, A, that you have a layout that will actually function with the barge, right?
Mhm.
Before we go any further, and then we look at these 2 items, and you're going to have some manipulation on some things, but that's just part of the process, right? So we definitely agree with Rusty. We need to have a good layout that's functional. Rainey and I will work on what makes sense there, and then the agreement with the city, right? If for some reason, we've already moved over to a piece of property that's joined with Frenchman's Creek. For some reason, we have to have a big turnaround on Frenchman's Creek. Does that create any issues, right? So those are the questions we need answered as part of the process. Questions?
Can we go forward without approval on this wetlands?
We could design a layout, right? And then we can move forward with both these.
What do you estimate the time for approval to be?
Approval from the Corps?
Yes.
That's a good question. It depends on how it ends up, how much area we're impacting and affects the route you take, the type of permit you have to obtain. So it can anywhere be from 6 months to a year.
Well, and my concern is that part of the interlocal agreement has to address that one of the sites has, because of how it was purchased and procured, some strings on it. And so we kind of need all of the horses and all
Yeah.
pulling the carriage at the same time. And so I'm worried if we get the wetlands determination after we get the site plan, we have to go back at that the city might want that before they approve the interlocal agreement. Because they'll want to know if it's wetlands or not.
We have a boat launch we could use in the meanwhile.
Clear Lake,
Clear Lake and drive back up.
Is it all the way back down to Clear Lake?
okay.
There used to be one at Challenger Park.
They closed that a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think the purpose of this is we don't even want to spend, going back to what Charlie complained about, and I'm with David on that, Charlie. We don't want to spend even $46,000, $850 if we don't, if it's not going to work out. So before we release the money, I kind of want to jump, I want to see the site plan for sure. I know the wetland stuff can be sticky. We've been there before, but I want to at least get a site plan and make sure it'll work, have some advanced conversations with the city and make sure it's going to work out before we spend a bunch of money. Otherwise, we'll launch it up at Clear Lake. It's efficient. We'll drive it down and we'll still do all the work for y'all. We'll just burn a little more gas.
You know, some years ago, I went fishing in Cabo on the East Cape of La Paz, okay? And it's a beach. There's no marina, okay? They had this boat, 38-foot boat, sport fisher on a trailer, okay? They said they put this ladder up there, so y'all get on board. They hooked it to a tractor and backed it into the surf. I'm like, you know, do we have a beach on Clear Creek that I don't know about? Is there clear water there too? Is there some blue water? We're gonna have some real expensive real estate, man. We're about to, where's Adam at? Where'd Adam go? Do you want to know where this, I want to know where this one is. No.
The point is, we can use the barge without the slip.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What is it, burn a little gas getting down the creek?
And that's what they did before. They put in down at Clear Lake when we paid the barge company to come and do the work, and they moored it up at our staging area, just south of 528, right, where they're dumping the debris and everything like that. It's just tied off there.
We have parts of the creek right now that we could use that barge on. Yeah. I'm talking about, you know, where there's big stuff laying in there that we need to.
Well, I don't know. I don't think we have any big stuff laying
We
there
don't
right
have
now.
anything laying there, but I mean, there's some trees that we could probably take out.
Some de-snacking.
No, it's a saw with a grapple that, so the grapple grabs it, the saw comes in with a grab and then it puts it back in the bar. So it grabs, saws, and it keeps onto it, lets it out. And you can just use the grapple without the saw, or you can grab the tree, saw it, and put it in the bar. So it's just like you see up in the Northeast when they're doing timber harvesting and stuff like that. It's made for going up and down this creek. It's 14-foot wide, 40-foot long, low draft. Galveston County Consolidated Dangerous District Blue. So it's going to be an effective tool. It's going to burn a little gas, get down the creek for a while. Which, you know what, we might find out that the project's so expensive, we might not want to do it. You never know.
Yeah.
But I don't think we should release the money until we
Agreed.
at least have a site plan and the wetlands. We can talk more about that caveat. For sure, I keep that one. I recommend we keep that one.
Motion to
Good question.
approve it. Motion to approve.
With the caveats.
With the caveats.
Mhm.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Right. Discussion and consideration, it's an update to the drainage criteria manual, and the language is, we propose to add the following notes to the plat and plan notes required. Review or approval by the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District does not relieve the applicant, developer, or property owner of the obligation to obtain any required review, approval, or permit from other local, state, or federal agencies having jurisdiction. Any revisions, modifications, or conditions required by such agencies, if made subsequent to GCCD approval, may necessitate resubmittal to the GCCD for further review and approval. Scott, could you kind of go through that? And
Sure.
you wrote that, so your layman's language.
Paige actually wrote this.
Oh, Paige wrote it.
It's got her signature on, but
Oh, okay.
and just the reason we're having to implement this, you know, for well over a decade, before I was on, you know, the district engineer working on private work here, the city and the district had a professional courtesy to the city would issue a letter of no objection once they reviewed the plans. They didn't have any objections to it, and the board wouldn't consider a final plan until they had it. Let them know. That just kept everything on track, make sure that all the developers were going to the city and the district at the same time. Unfortunately, city staff left us an email 2 weeks ago, sent us an email 2-3 weeks ago, and informed us that they're no longer going to issue a letter of no objection. So that's unfortunate. I think we could get things out of order there, where they'll get our approval, and then have to come back to us because maybe they haven't submitted to the city yet. But it is what it is. So we're, Paige recommend that we add this information to the district's notes so that everybody's 100% aware that, hey, you don't just have to come to GCCDD. There's City of Friendswood, City of Lake City. We're just in the county, Gallatin County. We have a small portion of that situation.
Want to add anything, Paige?
That sounds good.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Like that, Jim. Moving on. Okay, discussion and consideration, the approval of the agreement with Purple Wave for auction of surplus goods. A motion to discuss or approve, one of y'all?
We're getting rid of. Oh, sorry.
Motion, I want to make a motion to discuss.
Second.
Go ahead, Dave.
We get rid of some equipment that's.
Yes,
sell at auction.
a lot of old equipment that we have, dump trucks that we haven't used in years. Other equipment that hasn't been used in years. There's a list of items that are on there. Everything is I think the newest piece is probably 2010. There's two 2020 items that I don't think we'll have on the option. I just wanted to get a bid to see how much the value was worth. So the John Deere tractor and the Globe trailer, I just kind of wanted to get a price to see what the bids have been in the past. But all of that equipment is stuff that we do not use at all.
So it's just sitting there.
They just sit there.
Questions? Any questions? Okay, so want to make a motion to approve Purple Wave auction off the surplus equipment.
A second.
All those in favor? Aye. Then just an approval of the list of equipment, the item to be declared surplus. So a motion to
Motion
approve.
to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
F, discussion and consideration 706 Oak Drive variance request for a required width along Clear Creek. The owner is in process of redeveloping the residential lot. Their request to reduce the required easement of 175 feet from the center line of the creek. Our records show an existing 150-foot easement. Do I have a motion to discuss?
Motion. Second.
Scott?
So the district criteria manual, as noted here, provides that anytime we have to approve of a plan that any kind of easement that's that the district has in their manual must be dedicated as part of that before the plan's approved. Mr. Fitterman is asked that the drainage easement be reduced behind his house. So again, that's something that only the board could decide on. Attorney Aaron and then Mr. Fitterman here, if y'all have anything you'd like to say, support your case.
Yes, sir, we could.
Go on up to the podium.
Good evening, members of the board and staff. My name is Aaron Espinosa. I'm an attorney and I'm representing and assisting Mr. Fitterman, who is the homeowner at 706 Oak Drive here in Friendswood. So first of all, we're here because Mr. Fitterman and his family intend on building their dream home forever home here at 706 Oak Drive in Friendswood. They intend on demolishing these existing improvements and rebuilding. And so they've got plans, they submitted those plans for approval, and then in response, they were presented with the this 175-foot vacancy from the district. And so, as Scott mentioned, we're requesting a localized variance, which is a one-time 45-foot rearward shift of the easement line only behind the residence, not the whole not the whole, not the whole. So, essentially just behind the residence, it's about 130 feet. We're requesting that the 175-foot line from the center be reduced to 130. And this is actually our exhibit, but what you kind of see on the bottom where the 175 feet goes all the way up to the proposed, well, that's the backyard now, but this is the exhibit from their plan. And so if we reduce it to 130, you know, you're bringing it 45 feet closer to the creek. And so we've got an engineer study. Basically, this variance fully respects Appendix C, the drainage criteria, in particular the 175-foot standard, by preserving a continuous minimum 30-foot maintenance berm. So you're still going to have the 30-foot. In fact, there's at least 60 feet of a berm left over if this is approved. So it's still going to have full access to the creek for the district for purposes of maintenance and whatever is needed. And then the engineering package that we provided confirms that there would be no increase in the water surface elevations, either under the 10-year, 25-year, or 100-year storm year events. And so just a quick excerpt from the engineer's report basically says that exactly that the reduced easement in that particular spot behind the house would not affect the floodplain capacity nor result in any increase in water surface elevation for those storm year events that I mentioned. And that is Exhibit B to our request. So we also offer a 20-foot dedicated access corridor routed away from the home, which is Exhibit C to our request. Also request some reasonable residential protections for the homeowner. You know, he's got a family and we have kids, and one of the main concerns is the fact that the 175-foot line goes right up to the residence with the backyard and the plan for the pool and that sort of thing. So we're just trying to ask for it to be, you know, a little bit more frequent in that one spot only. And so in short, we maintain public safety, preserve the district's maintenance rights, and improve residential compatibility. So we respectfully ask the board to approve the variance as submitted or conditioned on final staff review of the engineering report and letter if you all haven't had a chance to review that yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion?
Yeah, what are we talking about here? For us non-engineers,
What's going
us non-credentialed engineers,
Scott, right now, it seems like right now we have, it looks like we have 150 foot anyway.
That's correct. There's a document put out there, and it's that's been recorded and stated to the original developer was willing to dedicate 150-foot maintenance and clearing easement along Clear Creek or along the Poly Ranch development. And that's been taken as that they dedicated it because it was specifically stated in there that they're willing to dedicate that as part of the plat approval. So I believe there's 150 foot here already. That's a maintenance and clearing easement. So that wouldn't allow us to expand the creek, right? The district, just like the cities, when you do a development along a roadway and they need additional right of way for future road expansion, the district requires that drainage easement or right of way be dedicated in the event that Clear Creek's ever needed to be benched or expanded. So,
but you want another 20 feet.
they want to reduce it down to 135 behind the house.
So an additional
15. So
It's encompass the 150 that's already existing.
Yes, but since the 150, our regulations have changed to 175. So we'd be 25 short, even if we maintained the status quo.
Listen, I can't speed this up. You want me to? I'll speed it up. I think we should keep it's an existing house. They're down the street from me in Poly Ranch. It's an existing house that they're gonna tear down and rebuild. They have 150 foot behind the house right now. I'm just one vote. My suggestion is keep the 150 behind the house and have the 175 where everywhere else per our criteria manual. And that's a middle ground. I think that's fair.
They're proposing the
20.
sorry.
I would also like to note that the next item on the agenda is we split it into two, variance request B,
Well,
to modify the language, easement language.
Yeah.
And so I think if we're gonna talk about the caveats, we'll get there.
We can take that, yeah.
Okay,
Take
I
that
just wanted to
separate.
note.
We're just talking about we're talking right now, talking about the feed easement. So, go ahead.
Appendix D, facts, statement of facts, number 5. This will be for you and Scott. You're fine with the negations, the agreement on as far as privacy screening and fence along the line,
Sure, there's nothing that we could do if you're outside the easement.
right? And then, you don't worry about the network limits.
That is.
That's it.
That's all fine. But I see, and the other question was, I didn't see the pool in the drawings. I missed that.
Like
We had a long pool discussion earlier this year, so that's why I was asking.
I believe this is their layout right now.
Yeah, I couldn't, when I blew it up.
Yeah,
Mr. Fitterman is just trying to make sure that he has plenty of backyard, that portion, right? And completely understand that.
I couldn't see.
I'm sorry?
The pool.
The pole here,
Yeah.
Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the existing pool or the proposed pool?
To be honest, I can't see it.
uh-huh.
The existing pool will pretty much be in the same spot up there.
As the current pool.
We were just wondering for the top right-hand portion of the property, just to move the easement over a little bit and grant you guys all the access you need, because it's a little over 10 acres. And I think the only area we were requesting totaled like 130 feet of the easement moved to just away from the home a little bit, since we do have little ones that we're raising here.
And yes, sir, that's the current layout.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
This is the creek bank, Jason. See where the cursor is?
So a lot of that area is actually eroded quite a bit and floods our property, often and quite drastically. And so for us to, potentially remove more of that or grant more of it, we think that it could flood the property even more down the road. Because that's actually the smallest part of our property where it is closest to the house now, and it continues to erode, on just some minor rainstorms as well.
Hey, you're my neighbor. Tell me you're gonna build that house up. You see how high.
Well, yes, sir.
Okay, you see how high mine is. So tell me you're probably the same mean sea level as I am.
The goal is to build it up, but obviously that one little small area that we're, respectfully addressing with you guys, it's already eroding and kind of going away and floods our property a lot. So, being the goal to be a long-term resident of Friendswood, we're just obviously worried that that's going to continue to erode and continue to flood our property. We do maintain the property extremely well now. We maintain the entire property, the trees, the creek, everything. So we're trying to do everything on our part to support y'all's overall cause. We just don't want it to continue to get
You're sitting by the right guy.
closer and closer.
Yeah, it is absolutely taken care of.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it does a great job.
You're sitting by
See
the
it
right.
all the time, so.
So I'm gonna maintain I want to make a motion. Our original motion is to maintain the 150 behind his house. So that gives him some breathing room back there. It's an existing house. This is brand new development, I think, but this is kind of a tweener deal, and it's an existing structure. And that gives him some breathing room back there, but it maintains the 175 everywhere else. So that's my motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank y'all very much for y'all's time today.
Thanks for coming. Well, we're not done.
Where'd it go?
G, discussion and consideration 706 Oak Creek variance B request to modify the drainage easement language. The owner request changes to the standard language of the drainage easement. It changes limiting work hours and use. Motion to discuss?
Second.
Ms. Page, you want to go over this?
Okay. so the changes that were proposed included privacy screening and fencing, that we must install and maintain vegetative screening or privacy fencing along the boundary of the easement, maintain non-emergency work within 100 foot of the residence between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. Or to not do work within that time frame unless it's emergency. To restore any of the removed screening or fencing with pre-existing or better condition within 30 days of completion of work or discovery of damage, to provide at least 30 days prior written notice before any non-emergency construction or maintenance activity within 100 foot of the residence, and no staging or stockpiling would be prohibited within the residential buffer area. The goal, from what I understand as the homeowner's goal, is to, and this is the effect that was stated, was to ensure that district maintenance can still occur while protecting the homeowner's privacy, safety, and quiet enjoyment of the residence. I would like to ensure the resident that we do not do non-emergency work between those hours anyway. That our goal is to maintain the privacy of all citizens who live along the middle of the creeks, or else would have major problems. Because we do have like 6 creeks within our jurisdiction, and that is something that we absolutely matters to us. With that said, though, I have concerns about providing these specific, or really any specific, changes to our standard easement documentation, because I do believe that could create an issue with documentation of our easements, so that when we don't have piecemeal of these people have these restrictions and these people have these restrictions, and we do need to go in and do different maintenance work.
Discussion, board. Can we launch our barge from your back?
If it helps the cause,
It does flat.
Only during certain hours. Oh, God.
I don't like different easement language up and down the creek. I doubt you're gonna have, I highly doubt you're gonna have any, you can walk over the house. I doubt how you're gonna have any of these issues you're worried about. I understand pipelines going through people's places and the hill country and stuff. I understand it, but I highly doubt the issues that you're worried about are ever going to occur. I don't want them to occur. I want you to bring to my attention, the board's attention. We don't want to inconvenience. We're surely not out to invade privacy. But I do like to have the same easement language for all the people in Friendswood up and down the creek, and not have a piecemeal, one here, one there. But I do respect your request and your ask. And
what you're saying is respected and understood as well, sir.
I don't think you'll have any problems with us. And if we're there, there's going to be a really good reason we're there behind your house. You're probably going to want us there because something bad's going down, and we want to fix it. I mean, we're there, we're still going to be we're still going to, be respectful. So we're not going to be there unless we have to be there.
Understand.
It sounds like we might need to be there a little bit right now and see something, but so that's just what I think about the language. I like to keep it the same.
Understood and respected. Thank you for your time.
So
Motion to deny.
Second.
all those in favor? Aye. Thank you all.
Thank you all for your time.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, approve or deny H. Approve or deny 702 West Viejo Drive, request to purchase regional detention, G 25064. The existing residential development request to purchase regional detention for an additional 900 square feet of impervious cover. Unfortunately, the size of the lot excludes the property from the simplified attachment 4 process. If granted, the development must have a preliminary and final drainage plan approved by the district. The total amount due of regional detention they would need for this improvement is $484. Approval of the request to purchase regional detention may be approved on a case-by-case basis for qualifying properties. Do I have a motion to discuss? Motion. Second. Before.
All right, 702 West Viejo, existing residents. They're doing a very small addition, 900 square feet. Unfortunately, it was over 5 acres, so it could not use the attachment 4 process, simplified process. So they're having to do a full drainage plan. When you get there, any single family residence that's 8.5 acres or less has the potential to use regional detention, but they have to come to the board to request such. And then if it's granted, provide a preliminary and then a final engineered drainage plan. That's the process. I think it's a great candidate. As you see, the total amount that they need is relatively small. Their total fee is going to be $484. So I hate to see that they had to spend the money on the engineering plans, but you have to have rules and regulations and cut off lines for some things, you know, so I would think it's a good candidate for your regional detention program.
Don't have a question.
Okay, no.
Motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion and consideration regarding our regular meeting date and time. Motion to discuss?
Motion.
Second.
Take it, Jason.
When we originally chose the date when we moved the meetings, you know, instead of every other Tuesday morning at 8, when you either had to take PTO, already be retired, or just be otherwise not busy. We moved it to Tuesday nights, the second Tuesday of the month, which conflicts with several other meetings around the county. And I think that it's important in our effort to relationship build that we can attend as many official meetings as possible. I wanted to move the meeting Wednesday. Puts us in conflict with no one's meetings. It can be the first or second Wednesday, whichever you guys want, but that's what I was thinking. Second, first puts us 2 days after council, so you know, given the condition with the NOLO issue right now, if they pass something Monday, we could finish it on Wednesday or deny, whichever. If we do the second Wednesday, then that's completely fine as well. But we conflict with League City's first meeting. We conflict with DD1, and these are places we should be. Santa Fe as well.
What time do you propose?
Same time as we've been meeting. I think that we've moved it between 5:30 and 6 a couple of times based off.
It's always been
So
six.
it's always-
Six.
Mhm.
Then
I think it's a good idea.
yeah,
I'm okay with Wednesday, second Wednesday.
yeah, I want to get to y'all.
Second Wednesday?
Instead of second Tuesday, it's second Wednesday, correct?
Well, it can be whatever. What do you, staff, so do y'all have a recommendation or something y'all rather see for first or second Wednesday? Second Wednesday makes more sense. It's just one day apart from like right now.
My recommendation is that we start this January of 2026
Correct.
because we do have some existing obligations.
Yes.
But otherwise, great idea.
Yeah, I don't think we were ever looking to start before January. We want to finish our FIC leads program.
Right.
But, so the board is second Wednesday, 6 PM. That way we can divide and conquer. And what we're going to do is that way we can all divide up and go to other meetings, whether it's Santa Fe, whether it's, because we need regional support. Once again, we need to all work together, whether somebody heads towards Brazoria County, if somebody heads towards League City, we can fan out and get out to more meetings. Nobody, I don't think, meets on a Wednesday.
Starting in January.
Yes, sir. So Jason, why don't you make a motion?
Motion to move the regularly scheduled board meetings to Wednesday at second Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m.
Starting.
Beginning January 2026.
I second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
None. The consent agenda. Does anybody have anything they would like to pull out of the consent agenda and talk about individually?
I do. See, I was asked if we could discuss that by a neighbor.
Okay, so, anything else aside from C? Everything else good? So aside,
Sorry, I didn't hear Jason.
you pulled out C off the consent agenda.
It's just pretty cool. We've never seen.
Okay, so aside from C, does anybody have anything else they want to pull out of consent agenda? Have a motion to pass the consent agenda outside of C?
Move to
Motion.
approve.
As stated.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, C. Approve or deny Parkwood District Shopping Center Phase 2, G2250067. It's a development process adding a commercial building and a parking lot for the final phase of their site. The attention is provided in the Parkwood Lakes development. The GCCDD approved the original drainage plan for this site in September of 2018. This project has been reviewed by WGA. Do you have a motion to discuss?
Motion.
Second?
Go ahead, Jason.
Explain away. I was asked.
So good news, got a lot of background on this, starting with the gardens, apartments, the senior assistant apartments. All of that commercial was originally designed to be put into Friendswood Lakes, regional detention, or not regional, but their detention pond. So we proved that up, way back when, that was 08, 09. And then we did the design for Parkwood as well, and then I guess the daycare now, right, that's right next to it. And there's summaries on here. You can see, that summarizes detention basins for the city and everything as part of the plan. Master drainage study that they originally did for the subdivision included this commercial property. So this is just the second phase of that site. It's going to be a total build out. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see these old PDFs that were scanned in and approved, but there's a detention summary talking about the different sections, what the detention rate was, how much was allocated. You see the City of Friendswood Public Works Safety facility. Actually, GCDD's office building here was part of their detention as well. Gardens at Friendswood Lakes, going through the Friendswood Lakes garden homes, all those things. That was remaining capacity off that system. Here's the original phase one that was approved, that was constructed. Any questions?
So it's all still within the original plan capacity for the group?
Correct, yes. The original drainage area was all planned to drain back through the gardens that's back there and into the detention system.
That's just that part of the land's been vacant, obviously the longest. It's the last
Sure,
development.
yes, the last portion. And this is phase two of that. So all the underground storm that was put in for the phase one was designed to convey the second phase. Yes.
You worked on that, didn't you? The Friendswood Lakes or Sterling Creek?
We did Sterling Creek, which was separate from Friendswood Lakes, but we did the original plat for this commercial stuff and which was part of the gardens, apartments, that's assisted living. And we had to approve, through the city and the drainage district engineer at the time, that, go through the Friendswood Lakes, drainage study that was approved and summarize everything and confirm that commercial property was indeed included, in the original drainage area.
Well, what Jason's getting to, I think, is do you see any issues do you see any issues of capacity or commands of the water down there? Do you see any issues?
That's
Yeah, just one of that issue real quick.
Yeah.
Is that along the HOA?
sure.
And please, if there are any questions, we can. Okay. We're happy to talk to them.
It's my other half.
Yeah.
Like Michael, I'm on an HOA board too.
Any other questions, Jim? David? No, sir.
Motion. Motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And that was C page on it.
Yes. Thank you.
Resolutions, we have none, so we'll move on to the discussion reports from staff members. Go on. Let's go, Randy.
3 minutes.
We have to wait on Scott.
That's what everybody says.
The sixth grader said that too.
I know, hold everything up.
Did they make that PowerPoint themselves?
I do have one that my group made, but never made it to.
So these sixth graders made a PowerPoint. They were like, hey, why don't we just make a PowerPoint to show everybody? We're like, okay. I saw it. You did that at Tech, didn't you?
Yeah.
At Tech, you made PowerPoints, right, Tech?
No, I still can't make a PowerPoint.
That's what I used to teach. I struggle with it, but
This is some of the work that we've been doing. This is Baker Road and Cowards Creek. It's right off of Baker Road. It's this piece up here where the grass is still growing. That's where all the gas lines are that we're not able to deal with at the moment. But we've already sloped this section and so it's already been dug out, key ditches put in, stabilized with the riprap to hold the bank up and new dirt put on it. That's obviously what it looks like, but it's a 4-to-1 slope, so it'll easily be mowed now. We're planning on that the grass up there over the gas lines, we're planning on slope paving that. Gas lines are 5 feet deep, so we can't really do any type of digging and pulling out anything. We can just basically straighten the dirt up and put cement over it.
that let you pave over?
Well,
You want it?
We're
yes,
working on that.
yes, but we have quite a few things, hoops that we have to jump through before we can do it.
So if everybody can see where that grass is, that's where we're gonna have to do something, but this is right by Baker Road, and the ag barn of FISD is to the left going towards Friendswood. So 23.
We don't own anything on the other side of the creek, so the trees and everything are right there. So
Yeah.
sloping this side has opened it up quite a bit. This is the next section. It's just a little further up from the piece that was being done here. We've dug out all that dirt, put in our key ditches there, and now we're getting ready to replace the dirt. It'll be sloped back. This is kind of a little road that we have there. About in the middle of that road, it'll be sloped back to a 4-to-1.
And just to point out for both the board and for laypersons who are not here every day, the reason that we're having to put the concrete over the gas lines is that actually one of them is only 3 feet under the erosion, and there's been a bank that has collapsed over there. And so if we don't do something, it can further erode and affect the pipelines. And so we've sent them some emergency messages that, hey, your pipelines are in danger. We need to do something about it.
And if you see this, we did the same thing actually behind Michael Ross's house. It just happened to collapse there. It had nothing to do with him being on city council, trust me. But it just happened to collapse in the creek. But what's happened is these creeks, Cowers, and there's Chigger behind his house, they're aging and they're steep. And Charlie, this is where we spend money, is we're doing these bank repairs and laying these banks back 4-to-1 and sloping them back where they hold more capacity and they don't erode into the creek with the key ditches and the way we put the soil back in hydro mulch. And Jim, this is good for a divide and conquer. This private land right here, other side of the creek, it'd be nice if we could get access to that, get a dedicated something to us and lay that back to what we're creating is capacity and conveyance in our own water system, which is invaluable. And that takes money, but that's what's we keep doing that in these sections, half a mile here, half a mile here, a mile here on our waterways. The water, that's where the water goes. That's the lowest point around there. That's where we want the water to lay to get out of people's neighborhoods and stuff. So that's the improvement on this old water system that we're doing, that Randy keeps identifying. And Jim's big on getting private land that makes sense. And we've been big about looking at private land on Clear Creek, but I think this shows private land on these other smaller tributaries are important too for us to do. It all adds up. It's inline detention too, where the water's already going. That makes a lot of sense. Go ahead. Sorry, Randy. I mean, still your thunder.
Next pictures are here. This is Clear Creek areas. Just wanted to show the mowing that the contractors and our guys are doing. These are sections of the creek that you'll never see. These are back in behind both fossil land and some land that you'll never see. Obviously, the other side is Clear Creeks. I mean, Harris County. So you can see, but you can see our side is laid back.
Meeting, I think.
Yeah.
One side versus the other.
So this. And it's beautiful back there. It's just, it's unfortunate that you won't see it. There's actually, where I'm at here, there's an eagle's nest there. Because there's a bald eagle that lives back there. This is back in the back there. This is a tree that's in the creek. You can see, it doesn't look very big until you pull them out. And there's some monsters back there. This is more of the mowing that we're doing and keeping that stuff down and conveyance there. This is Chapel Hill. Right over the hump there is Cowards Creek. This here is Cowards Creek. This is close to the high school, right at the end of the street. We have a sheet piling on the wall there to the left. So down on the bottom there is all riprap that has to be weed eated by hand. No mowing can get down there. This is also Cowards Creek. This is not far from Stevenson Park. I've had the board members ask, when you look at something sloughing off, how do you rank it? How do you rate it? This is a bank that is kind of falling in. Well, not kind of, it is falling in. I left the truck up there. The reason that I consider this one more drastic that we need to fix soon is because now that truck can't drive across there any longer. If the truck can't drive across there, tractors can't drive across there to maintain it. So this is obviously a bank that we'll need to do some repair on to get our access back to driving across that.
Is that a bend or an oxbow right there?
It is a bend.
Where it
It is, it's basically a power bend. The water is coming behind the truck there. That goes up to the dog park. So that's the big ditch that's from the dog park coming down into the
I
creek.
know where that is.
Yeah. This is actually just looking a little bit further. Just wanted to show the maintenance and how nice the guys are keeping the creek. We've imported a system this year that I think is keeping the weeds down, and in turn grass is growing and suffocating those weeds, and it's looking very nice. This is Cowards Creek also. This is just a little further down. This is more Cowards Creek.
Go back a slide. Go back a slide. See, that's better. That kind of looks like behind Ross's house a little bit.
No, well, that's, no,
But go back a slide where you were.
Okay, right there.
Right there. You see that? That's how I wish we.
That's
could have-
Chapel Hill.
That's how I would like to see one day Chigger, Cowards, and Mary's Creek look everywhere, where it has that much volume and it's laid back where you can not only mow it, but that's not how it looks if you go up and down the creeks down here. It'll look like that for a section, and you'll be like, wow, and then you'll get a mile down there and it'll be bam, and like a little V. And that's the point. We have to get our tributaries and creeks that we can control, that's not Clear Creek, looking like this.
Around that bend is Castlewood. That's the next bridge that you come to right there. And this is past that Castlewood Bridge. This is Friendswood Trails. This is Chigger Creek. Both sides of Chigger Creek. This is looking out where Chigger Creek starts, coming from Brazoria County. This is where, if you guys had heard, the Chigger Creek got dye colored blue, and everybody was calling where it blue.
Yeah.
It's these two ponds that leak through that had that blue dye coming in. So
It's like chemtrails.
exactly.
We tested it, not going.
This is a project. I've showed this on several months of a project that we were doing out on El Dorado. This is the last ditch that we graded in between El Dorado. El Dorado's a circle road. This is the ditch that goes in between houses on here. It was basically a flat ditch. We had to dig it out some to give a little bit of fall in it. But everything there, that whole project is done and seems to be draining wonderfully.
Everybody happy over there?
Everybody
Yeah.
very
As
happy.
big as the Valley Watershed, I'm telling you, there was no fall. There was zero. We shot it. It was like 3-4 inches, and those pipes were all jacked. But this is Dixon Valley Watershed, but that's going to be incredible conveyance compared
Yeah,
to.
the district's done a lot of work downstream in that, ultimately box
Yeah.
ditch,
Yeah.
right, and cleared it out and worked with the city a lot on this.
And Lundy has been.
Yeah, the city and us work really good. Those people are really happy.
Once we finish this, then the city's come out with their grade all and is grading the ditches all the way around the circle there. I'm not 100% sure how far they're done with that, but I know they came out and started doing it after we finished here. This is back to some of the trees that we're pulling out of Clear Creek. This is behind the Forest of Friendswood. You know, it looks like a little mess until you start pulling on it. And that's what ended up coming out. So it was quite a big sized tree. A little bit further down was these trees that were there, and pulled those out, had to get boat and
Scares me.
yanked all those out of the tree, and that's how big the tree was. It ended up, we cut a lot of it off, broke some of it off, but it was quite a large tree that was in there also.
What are we doing with all that wood?
We cut it up, take it in and dump it at,
Mulch or something?
yeah, we take it and dump it.
You take it to Brady?
No, we take it to,
No, but
Novus.
Okay.
Novus, yeah,
Thank you, Randy.
thank you.
Samantha?
We're still working on the disaster recovery with FEMA. We had, with all the changes going on at the federal level and at FEMA, we had personnel changes multiple times. I think they did a request for information, and we're working on trying to get an answer to it by not this Friday, but the following Friday. We're still looking at about $550,000 there. We've recently submitted 2 grants, more towards maintenance projects. One of them was for a planning study, to look at doing a more building with nature approach, maintenance project along, Hunter's Lane on Sugar Creek. And the other one is looking at, planting native vegetation, doing more like a spongeland concept inside one of our detention ponds. So we're waiting to hear on those now. And then we recently received an email this week from HGAC that they are willing to submit a grant on our behalf to GLO to update our design criteria manual. So with that, it would probably be around 250,000 is my guess, but it would be to update our manual with green infrastructure. Atlas 15, and I know Rusty kind of rolled his eyes, but it is on schedule to be released in 2026, 2027. And so by the time we actually receive the funding, it will probably be 2027. So Atlas 15 updates the manual, and then incorporating some of the latest building code information. We've been meeting with a lot of different people. Paige and I have literally been running around meeting tons of nonprofits and different partners. We're probably going to have to start splitting up, but we also are looking at 3 or 4 additional grant applications. I'm working on the costs and scoping those. And then Rusty knows about, there's one idea that I don't want to say anything on it until we know more, but we had a really good idea and we're following up on it. Paige and I had a meeting Friday and we're waiting to see if that's going to pan out. But if it does, David, you and Rusty will be involved, and I think it might be an exciting.
You can share.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. We reached out to the Boring Company, Elon Musk's company, and are working with them to see if we can. They have not done flood tunnels, but the way that their boring equipment works, they've really revolutionized the process. They can only do one size of tunnel. It's 12 feet diameter, but their equipment will porpoise itself, so you don't have to do a massive excavation at the beginning and end of the project. And like a lot of tunnels, they never cover the equipment. The equipment's built custom made for that tunnel. Well, they are reusing the equipment. So just from like conversation, talking about pricing, I think that it is going to be a lot more reasonable than $1 billion. And so Paige and I are working with them to see if we can come up with some kind of preliminary engineering study to look at a real solution. So.
Are you twisting Lars's arm to use his influence at the court?
Oh, I already know people.
Because Bernard Johnson.
We're gonna meet with the board. We're gonna go down there for their stakeholder workshop, but it got canceled because of the funding freeze. I don't want to bother him too much, like based on all the stuff going on, but I did email down there and we're gonna work to set up a meeting again to talk about.
Bernard Johnson and Mason Lockwood were great friends, and they are the guys who hired these former CEOs. My dad hired about 3 of them. And I'm sure that was just for goodwill. But they got a hell of a lot more engineers work. So, Lars, I bent your ear the last time I saw you about backing this deal. The flood dike. Remember the one I talked about?
So I will, like, as far as the dredging project, we've had some discussion with the Corps already about potential dredging projects, both on Clear Creek and Clear Lake and Dickinson Bayou. and the attitude was very favorable. So there's a number of things we want to talk with them about. We want to talk about like a Galveston County-wide gauge system with them. We want to talk about dredging. We've also been looking for alternative ways to fund a dredging project, and there's Economic Development Association grant that might be a really good opportunity. The match, the local match is 20% and the federal match is 80%. So we're looking into that as a possibility as well.
We want the engineers and contractors behind us on this deal.
Yep, we would love to have a contractor that has direct experience working with the Corps on a dredging project.
So Samantha, they told us, so when we first talked about tunnels a long time ago, that it was crazy money. I mean, probably money, like money. So what Samantha said the other day, it's very preliminary, but they're saying they can bore for about $15 million a mile.
A 12-foot tunnel.
A 12-foot tunnel, one. So 15 million, so it's 11.2 nautical miles from Pearland Regional Airport out to the bay. And it can be a little bit longer depending on how you get there. But so what is that? $165 million. And what is that math? Something like that. I think that's about right. So that would be one 12-foot tunnel would be $165 million if you went that far. That is a lot cheaper. Griffon, you were around when we were covering this 3 or 4 years ago when they came up with the initial maps about the tunnels. And
there's another one about 8.1 miles to 2351 bridge.
yeah, and it was, man, but the money per mile was off.
Yeah, but that all drastically changed too. When the engineers start hearing everybody balk, they go, well, we couldn't do it for this amount.
Yeah.
For this amount.
I mean, the thing about it is we'll see. This is all very preliminary, but you know, the Musk Boring Company, they probably have a little, you know, Elon got a little muster behind him. He seems to get some stuff done that other people can't do, where Starlink or
They have
SpaceX, but this is interesting. This, it's very preliminary, but that's a lot less money per mile than what we're talking about. You know, where are they going to put it? But anyway, it was just interesting to hear their feedback on that because they said $12 to $15 million a mile. And that's a lot cheaper. I know it's a lot of money. That's still, I mean, astronomically cheaper than what they hit us with when we were in those old meetings, whether it was Dixon Valley Watershed or Clear Creek Watershed Committee. It was crazy. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We'll have more reporting on that.
Yeah, so we have a lot of stuff going on. We're very busy.
Okay.
And we haven't heard back yet from the Galveston Bay Foundation who received, there was dispersing money from TCEQ where Samantha and I went and presented in conjunction with 16 other projects competing for funds regarding laying back of a project to lay back the slopes of how many?
It was Timber Creek. It was Hunter's Lane, 2,500 feet, but it would be laying back and then looking at collecting data if we were to go in and plant native vegetation. And part of this goes back to the soil. We're really looking to understand why we're having so many bank repairs. And the soil health is not great along any of our creeks. It's really dried out. And so we're starting to understand that if we look at planting native vegetation, so like prairie land, and we shade the soils some, so we plant back some trees, that all of these things kind of tie together to improve the soil health. And so it would, the native vegetation also has giant root systems, and then the soil would have better infiltration and water storage capacity if we were to improve the soil health. So kind of all these things are similar to a sponge land concept in some respects. So, but we would have to collect data on a project like that to make sure that it is the best thing that we could do. But, you know, financial data, water quality data, runoff data. So we're looking at a few maintenance type projects where we can look at taking some of that data to see if switching to this type of approach on our maintenance program would help with the erosion repairs, like reduce the costs, but also may actually increase the water, the flood reduction capacity.
Let's keep moving.
Yes. Okay. So rain barrel program update. If you haven't ordered your rain barrel yet, there is still time. The pickup date is not this coming Saturday, but the next Saturday. And we have that information both on our website, our Facebook, and otherwise, if you are interested in one. They look like this. They're 50 gallons. They hook up into your collection system from your roofs. And you can use them to irrigate your lawn or water your plants or whatever you'd like to do. Chick, that works too. Yep. And 2 of them fit in the back of a sedan. Updates on Clearview project. Scott.
We're working on the conceptual plans and we started today laying it out, working off of a conceptual surface from 5E. And we hope to have something the next month that we could get some construction cost estimates on.
What conceptual plan are you looking at?
So-
A shelving project?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yep.
the board, when we presented 5E's original overview of what could be done there, suggested that benching was appropriate. The board liked that idea, if y'all recall. And so it did have in our calculations a slight possible negative impact downstream. And so we asked her to, one, look at costs for what the board liked about the benching, but also ways to mitigate that potential negative effect and to be creative about it. And so we're looking forward to presenting that data to you probably next month.
Gauges.
Yes, Gators. The parts have been ordered. We're looking at possibly 4 more weeks till install.
If y'all, Michael and you and Gravon, if y'all can help us with that, I think there was some discussion about access to city bridges to put these gauges on. We have other areas where, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, where we can have them independent. But I think you were still waiting on some city approvals of some. Is that true?
That's true.
Yeah, he got back with us and then we sent some information. And then
Maybe y'all two can push that along. These are the simplicity gauges that give accurate and timely information, hopefully, like they said, Apple style, where people can really use them to see rising water and what's going on in real time in a more friendly interface situation. So if y'all could maybe push that along, I'd appreciate that. To get these gauges up so Randy can place these things. Everybody in Friendswood and Leagues, Western League cities have access to our district. I think pretty much everybody that wants to look at it across anywhere, it's
Yes.
interface.
And we'll be able to pull in Harris County's data.
Yeah, we'll pull that, integrate that also. It's a great deal. I brought that up to the commissioner's court too, about how that along with some other things, how I think that is a very worthwhile project. Because the gauges are more solid state. It's kind of like airplane stuff. They're plug in and play battery, bam, and they're simple and they're not very expensive. And we're funding those. So all we need is just approval. Okay, is that all?
Last item on the staff reports is that we'll have the 7th graders here at 5 p.m. and before our November meeting, and the 8th graders here before our December meeting at 5 p.m. as well. Our first one today for the 6th graders went, I think, in my opinion, fantastically. And we're just really excited to continue this program and appreciate the trust that FISD's put in us.
Scott?
Good evening. First, I just want to tell Paige and Melissa and Samantha and Fanny, great job on preparing for the students to be here today. It went really smooth because y'all were well prepared for it. Appreciate the opportunity to be involved with it as well. Got a heavy load of reviews. Thanks to Legacy. Last week, I think they sent me about 15 plats in a matter of 10 minutes. So still trying to just process that. It was right there at the tail end of the week. And just trying to get that back on my schedule. And of course, working on Clearview, like we just discussed, and then the boat launch. That's all I have to report.
Thank you. Righty. City of Friends reports, Mr. Gravon.
Oh, y'all got through early, didn't you?
We're trying. I'm trying.
Really, I was fixing to say, you're going to change it to Wednesday, maybe back to, we get it over quicker, but, honorable board, staff, citizens all, wanted to come up here and just tell y'all the city is doing well. We had our, Clear Creek Watershed Steering Committee meeting today. And Randy, I think I mentioned this to you a couple of months ago, and in just a remiss, but I'd love to invite you
to city council to give you a report. I know that Joseph Anderson did that for year after year. He would give an annual report of what was going on at the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District. So I'd like to run that by the mayor and get the staff on board and put you on the agenda so you can come and give us that report. It's a really good report, and I really appreciate you doing that for all of us here and for the board. I don't know if it's fait accompli. At the Clear Creek Watershed Steering Committee, we went over several things, and one of the things we did go over was the 1959 Regional Detention Basin. And I would like to really urge y'all to consider remaining as partners with the city of Friendswood and Harris County Flood Control District and Galveston. We've been partners in this deal now. I think I recall about 8 years ago when all of this started to come about, a commercial developer had purchased some property over there and dirt had been piled over there, and it was right in the floodway. And this is back where I think it was the paintball park was and all that stuff. And Harris County jumped on that quick. They bought that property, and it was wildly accepted by everybody in Friendswood that a detention project there would be really big. And like David Johnson, over the past 8 years, I've been to more meetings with representative with every large engineering companies in the world, trying to get tax dollars to do studies. And now we're digging, and we've got about $6 million spent. We had one commissioner who represented Friendswood who didn't want to spend ARPA funds, wanted to come out of other funds. So there were restrictions placed on that $6 million that had to be spent first, and that money has been spent. And Kim, you're right. There's not signs over there, but the design is a little over 50% done. Today's Clear Creek Watershed Steering Committee, they showed us where they're expanding it. And there's an oxbow over there that's northeast of there that they're possibly going to be able to take in and incorporate that and get more footage. And I would really hate to see you all do one of the things that I did when I became a council member, and it was short-sighted on my part. We were going, and I think Samantha might have come to the city about that time. We were going to hire an outside consultant. I think it was $117,000, and by God, I didn't want to spend $117,000. And this consultant was going to come and help us procure grant funds. In 1 year, that consulting firm procured over $2 million for the city of Friendswood, 20 times the amount that we paid for. They are still working for us and have just under about $9 million of grant funding that they have gotten and partnered with us to allow us to get the funds that we spend very little money to get that money coming to us. And amazingly, and I know y'all are all hearing this, new board members, LMI, you can't qualify for anything because low, moderate income, you can't qualify for it. This company, this outside consulting company, found LMI in Friendswood. And so $3.5 million seems like a whole lot of money for the district. And they're leveraging that $3.5 million. And Tricia slightly mentioned it, but it's closer to $97 million worth of drainage work for $3.5 million. That's going to help Polly Ranch. My brother lives in Polly Ranch. There is going to be the ability at Whitcomb property to convey by terracing 3,300 linear feet, 400 feet deep, right behind y'all's house. These are in tandem projects. And one of the things over the years, the 8 years that I've been here, no one little small project is going to make a difference. Oh, you get an eighth of an inch here, you get half a foot here. But over the spans of a watershed, you are looking at a huge difference. And if you tandem these small projects, like 1959 Regional, along with what we're doing at Whitcomb, along with another $10 million that we're getting for Black Hawk and Autumn Creek, these are the kind of projects that's going to help Polly Ranch. That's going to help my brother. You live in Polly Ranch. Y'all live in Polly Ranch. It's in your backyard. Now, I hate studies, just like David Johnson. I've seen more damn studies than I ever want to see again. I finally see some digging going on. And then I catch wind that maybe the district doesn't want to be a part of it. I really hope that y'all reconsider. I think I saw a letter on social media that advocated for y'all to pull out of the project. I hope that y'all don't. It's up to you, it's your vote. I respect each and every one of you. I've worked with every drainage district board, had great relationships with everybody. I just hope y'all reconsider this one. Remember, we're walking on